Hello, ARC family, and welcome to the ARC Journey. Today, we're going to talk about just briefly Financial Peace University. Financial Peace University with Dave Ramsey has changed Nancy and my life, and it has affected our ability to do ministry in God's way. So, Nancy, I'd like to ask you if you could share with us some of your thoughts and insights into Financial Peace University. Let's start with this question. What is Financial Peace University? For all those who aren't familiar with it, don't know who Dave Ramsey is, what is Financial Peace University?
Okay, Financial Peace University is just that. We're going to be learning about money, our own personal finances, and the goal is to have peace with our money. So that's it in a nutshell. It's a biblically based program. In fact, Dave Ramsey says it's doing money God's way and grandma's way, only we keep our teeth in. It's also practical and doable. The course is 9 weeks, and we're going to be talking about budgeting, paying off debt, saving, investing for your future, and giving generously. This is an investment that will change your financial future, and it will impact your ministry.
What attracted you to this ministry?
It goes all the way back to when we were in college. We were at Phil's mom and dad's house, and we were sitting in the living room. I was sitting on the piano bench, and Phil's dad asked me, "What do you want to do with your education?" And I said, "I want to help people with money." That was a long time ago. So jump forward to about 2009. I just happened to Google Christian personal finance, and Dave Ramsey's name popped up. I looked it over. I was really intrigued because it was biblical, because it was practical and doable. It wasn't some kind of get-rich scheme or anything like that. So I read some of his books. We took the Home Financial Peace University course back then, and it's really changed our lives. As a result, we've paid off all of our debt. We're saving for retirement, and we're able to give a lot more generously. I also see how well, not only that it affected our lives, but I've heard so many testimonies out there in the Dave Ramsey world and from the people that have already gone through the courses that I've led. And I just know that it can change people's lives, and I want that for everybody.
So I think that one of the things that holds people out, catches them, is that they think this is only for people in financial distress. And I don't have financial distress. I have faith that God is going to take care of everything. So we just leave our budget up to faith, and which is good. But how is this not just for people in financial distress?
Okay, well, there are people in financial distress. They have debt collectors calling them, they're behind on their bills, their mortgage, whatever. And this is a good place to start, but sometimes they do need additional help. But there's also a lot of people that just live paycheck to paycheck. They don't even realize that there's a better way to do money. So let me ask our listeners some questions. If your car broke down today or your refrigerator dies tomorrow, how are you going to pay for that? Do you have money set aside for things like that? If you lost your job, especially in these times, that not only you or maybe the people that you minister to are going through this. If they lost their job, how are they going to tide themselves over for a couple months till they find another one? Do they have money set aside for that? Do you have a lot of money fights with your spouse? How about retirement? Do you have a plan? Do you know how you're going to pay for that? Or how about when you get to the end of the month? Do you ever just wonder, where did all our money go? Or how about when you see a need, whether it's in your church or your community or maybe the missions that we support in our churches, and you have a passion for them and it tugs at your heart and you're like, I would love to help that person or that program, but I just really cannot afford to do that because I don't have it in my budget. I don't have the finances for that. So, it doesn't matter if you're in desperate straits or if you think you're doing okay. It doesn't matter how old you are or how young you are, how much money you make, how much money you have or don't have. If you have a big mess with your money or a little mess, it doesn't matter. This is for everybody. It's the learning that about doing money God's way so that we have peace with our money so that we don't have to focus on our money all the time.
What is your goal in leading the Financial Peace University class?
I want people to have financial peace. I want them to feel blessed by what God has already given them. I want them to be able to know what God's way of doing money is, and I want them to put that into practice in their own life so that they can eventually live and give like nobody else.
That's a big Dave Ramsey catchphrase. So that you can live and give like nobody else. But what does that actually mean? What can you unpack that for us? What does it
Sure.
mean to live and give like no one else?
So living like nobody else is being obedient to what God has instructed us in his word. And it's being good stewards of what he's already given us. I mean, after all, he has promised to give us everything we need. So we want to live in that. And then when we apply these biblical truths to our own lives, it becomes part of our DNA, part of how we do our lives and handle our finances. And then this affects our ability to help those around us and to minister to people around us.
So I think one of the other questions that people are going to ask, and I can answer some of this, but how does this help my ministry? I know that through our ministry, through our being able to go through this, this has affected and allowed us to be able to plan to be able to give, or to have resources available to say, what are we going to do with this money, and where do we want to invest it, and whose life can we help change? And God has given us that ability through the good practical stewardship that he's taught us in his word, and then taking Dave Ramsey's practical steps. But how does this help? Can you answer the question, how does this help my ministry?
I would think of it as being on the airplane and they tell you if the mask drops down in front of you, put your own masks on first before trying to help somebody else. So think of the people that you're leading. Do they see you breathing easy when it comes to your finances, or do they hear you struggling to pay your bills? Or do they hear you lamenting about how you're going to pay for retirement? Or sometimes are you a less than cheerful giver? When you're doing money God's way, when you're planning, avoiding debt, leaving an inheritance, being generous, it frees you to focus on others. So not only is Financial Peace a good program for you to go through, it's an awesome program to take your church through, anybody that you know. And it's one of those things that you can either do in person or you can do it online, which we're going to do virtually. And as Dave Ramsey says, what could the people of God do for the kingdom of God if they were debt free? And this just isn't about the money. It's an attitude change. It's a heart change. That's what's important.
I agree. I think that one of the things that, sorry about that. I think that one of the things that we don't think about is that this is actually a part of discipleship. Understanding what we do, stewarding what God has invested in us and with us, is a part of that discipling process. And we not only need to be able to learn it and apply it in our own lives and allow it to become part of our DNA, but we need to also be investing that into those that we've been called to minister to. So I think that's a big part of how this affects our ministry. So when is the next class? And if I'm interested in signing up, how do I do it?
Okay, we have a class that we want to start on September 8th. It's a Tuesday at 6:30 in the evening. And you can sign up by either contacting me or Phil through Zoom, or not Zoom, sorry, through text, email, phone call, whatever.
And what is my commitment?
Okay, the class is 9 weeks long, and it's usually about a 1-hour class per week. But before you come to class, you need to watch a video that's usually about 45 minutes long. So when you come to class, we'll be discussing that video, going over some questions, answering your questions. And I want you to realize that Dave Ramsey is very easy to listen to, and the personalities that lead the course, very easy to listen to, and often they're funny, very subtle funny. So it's a lot of fun. Sometimes you'll have some homework, and It's not a lot, but it's looking at your own personal finances and taking steps. So don't think about it as really as homework, but more as you adulting with your money. There is a cost. The cost is $129.99 per family, but we do have scholarships available. There have been people who have gone through Financial Peace University. It has really changed their lives. And as a result, they want to help you to do the same thing with your finances.
Beautiful. If you are interested, if you want to check it out, go to daveramsey.com. Right now, there's a 14-day free trial that you can actually become, get an idea of what this is going to be like and take on, listen to some of the stuff that's out there. So daveramsey.com, free 14-day trial. If the cost is an issue for you, like we said, there is scholarship money available for those, made generously available by those who have gone through this process already. And God has brought them to a point where they are able to give like no one else. So they want to reinvest in you. Thank you, Nancy, for taking time today to talk to us and for being willing to invest in other people's lives and help them to live God's way, handle God's money His way. And I just want to say blessings on this opportunity. And if you're interested, just let us know, reach out to us. In the meantime, keep shining, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.